What is up, fellas? We are back for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC Fight Night, Saudi Arabia. Whittaker versus Aliskerov. Picks are on the board. I'm just going to start putting them all on the board for those of you who just want to speed run and just see who I picked. Um, Also, I'm going to try and make this one pretty brief because I just got done recording this video. And I have to re-record it because it was just my face cam and not the actual fights. So let's jump right in, fellas. I just do it again. Dude, I forget my hotkey every. I forget my hotkey to do this every fucking time. Kicking us off at bantamweight, Zhao Long versus Chang Ho Lee. Fellas, I'm going with Chang Ho Lee here. Um, Despite the experience discrepancy between the two, I think Chang Ho Lee has fought better fighters generally than Zhao Long, and he's finished more of them at a higher percentage. And one thing about Chang Ho Lee that I really like that I have written down, I have takedown and grounded pound written down because he can get a takedown, he'll force a takedown, and once he gets in that position, man, he's a real hard guy to stop once he gets rolling. He's like a snowball. He just keeps building up on the ground. And I think Zhao Long, I don't think if he gets taken down, he'll be able to get up. I think Chang Ho Lee here can TKO him. I think he can get him on the feet too. His striking's really not too shabby on the feet as well. But I think where he excels here is getting the takedown. And I think he can get a takedown and TKO Zhao Long in like round 1 or 2, I think. Moving up to light heavyweight, Magomed Gaziazulov versus Bradson Ribeiro. Now, guys, this guy is interesting to me because he's 8-0, a lot of finishes, seems like a really good fighter, and I'm picking him to win. But I am slightly concerned because Bradson Ribeiro is kind of just like a guy who drags a dogfight out of every single person he fights for no reason. Like I'm pretty confident this fight in the first round is going to be an absolute shootout, which is going to be fucking scary. Um, but I'm picking Magomed for the simple fact that not only can he exist in a dogfight, I think with Bradson Ribeiro, I think he's a more technical striker. I think he's a lot more composed striker, but he can also mix in the takedowns very well. And I think that could be what seals Ribeiro's fate in this fight. Because when Ribeiro's running in, he's throwing these big wild hooks. He's going crazy. I could see Magomed just ducking and just going for a double leg straight into Bradson Ribeiro's hips because he squares them up sometimes when he's striking. Um, but I also think Gaziazulov can catch him on the feet as well. And when it comes down to it, Ribeiro's been finished like 5 times out of his 6 losses, I believe. I'm going to trust in Magomed because I think he can just take a shot better. If these guys trade punches, trade hooks, I think the chances of Ribeiro going down are much higher than Gaziazulov. So I think he's got probably a little bit of a durability advantage. I think he's got a grappling advantage here, and I think he's a more composed striker. Obviously, Ribeiro's dangerous in any kind of dogfight early, so he's susceptible to just bonking Magomed on the head and killing him. But I feel like that's a lot lower percent chance of happening than Gaziazulov finishing him. So I'm going with Magomed Gaziazulov here. I think he'll probably get a TKO win over Bradson Ribeiro, though Ribeiro is wildly dangerous. Moving up to bantamweight, Kyung Ho Kang versus Muin Gafurov. Guys, I'm going with another underdog here. I'm going with Kyung Ho Kang over Muin Gafurov. I just don't think Muin Gafurov is very good. He's got good power and he's got all right striking, although I like Kang striking a little bit better. He's a little bit straighter in the punches he throws, and I think he can take advantage of his 5-inch reach advantage here. He's a pretty accurate guy, too. He picks his shots pretty well. He also has a little bit of a takedown. It's nothing insane, but I think in an exchange where Muin Gafurov maybe is getting a little frustrated trying to get into the pocket against Kyung Ho Kang, maybe he could slip in a shot and get Muin down. And one thing that Kyung Ho Kang is really good at is finding the submission. He's got real good submissions. Muin Gafurov has some good subs of his own, but I think I would favor Kyung Ho Kang in a jiu-jitsu match personally. I just see more ways to win for Kang. I think he can win a decision. I don't think he'll TKO Gafurov at all, but I do think he could submit him. Um, yeah, I just don't think very highly of Muin Gafurov. His opponents that he has beaten aren't too great. The same goes for Kyung Ho Kang, but I think he's just looked better more consistently, and I like that he's being more active at this point in his career. We'll see though. Mui Gafarov does have good power, decent striking, so he could obviously win here, but I just don't see him being minus 160 at all. Moving up to welterweight, Renat Fakretnov versus Nicholas Dalby. Um, Nicholas Dalby, I'm gonna say it right now, very live underdog. This guy's really fucking good, and he's really slept on as a fighter, clearly. Um, but I'm going with Renat Fakretnov just because. Okay, I think stylistically, Lezu Zaleski dos Santos is a harder matchup for Renat Fakretnov than Nicholas Dalby. For the simple fact that Zaleski dos Santos, if you're a guy whose main prerogative is to go out there and take down Zaleski dos Santos, you're going to have a really fucking hard time. Like, Zaleski's takedown defense and his grappling defense is really, really, really good. Nicholas Dalby's not as good. I think that's the separator for me, is that their grappling defense are different. Because Nicholas Dalby, he's got good volume, he's got infinite cardio, he's got a good pace as well. He can put it on you. But I feel like Renat Fakretnov will be able to get the takedown and stop Dalby's pressure and his pace and nullify what makes Nicholas Dalby so effective. And I think once Fakretnov gets a takedown, I think he's just going to smush him. I think he's just going to lay and pray, baby. I don't think he's going to try and jump for a submission. I think he'll probably throw some ground and pound, but I think largely he's just going to try and positionally control Nicholas Dalby. And I think he'll largely be able to do that for at least the first 2 rounds in this fight. Maybe Dalby comes live, starts to put it on for Fakretnov in the third. But I think Fakretnov can bank two early rounds here against Nicholas Dalby because I think he'll be able to get him to the ground, and I think he'll be able to hold him there. So I'm going to go with a Fakretnov decision here. I don't think he'll finish Dalby. I think Dalby's a pretty tough guy to finish. So yeah, Fakretnov decision is what I'm feeling. Moving up to featherweight, Muhammad Niamov versus Felipe Lima. Guys, this is a fight that I feel is very 50-50. But I'm picking Felipe Lima. For the simple fact that I think just outright he's a better fighter than Muhammad Niamov. My only problems with picking Lima against Niamov is that this fight is on short notice. It is up a weight class. And Niamov is huge. He has big power. And he also cheats a lot. So that's my big deal breaker, really. Because Niamov has not impressed me with one fight in his entire UFC tenure. The Jamie Malarkey was he was an underdog, but my thing was up until this knockout, he was getting outworked by Jamie Malarkey and losing that fight pretty decisively by my remembrance. Remembrance. What the fuck am I talking about? And if you're getting out technique for technique by Jamie Malarkey, I feel like Felipe Lima could do that to you as well. Now, granted, he won by knockout. He caught Jamie Malarkey, but it's Jamie Malarkey. The Nathaniel Wood fight, I mean, dude. I wonder how much of his fucking purse he paid the referee to not take a point for him cheating 19 times in that fight. And then Eric Silva blew out his leg. Like, I don't know. If he beats Felipe Lima, I'm officially on the Niamov is actually really good train. I think Felipe Lima is just a better fighter technically. His striking is much better. I think technically everywhere he's better. But I do think I could see him easily getting size bullied by Muhammad Niamov. I almost want to change my pick to Niamov just because I feel like he'll size Mog Lima badly. But I'm going to trust my initial gut reaction to this fight being made, and I'm going to go with Felipe Lima. I think he'll win a decision here over Muhammad Niamov. I think he'll outwork him, even on short notice. We'll see, though. I don't know. Muhammad Niamov could just cheat and size bully his way to a fucking win here pretty easily as well. That's why this line is so close. Closing out the prelims at lightweight, Nasrat Haqparast versus Jared Gordon. Guys, I'm going with Nasrat Haqparast here because I think he's just a better boxer. He's much faster. I think he's got more power. Jared Gordon, his way to win this fight, I think, is to mix in a takedown and push Haqparast up against the cage, maybe work a clinch against him. My thing is, in the in-between of those two scenarios, between shooting a takedown and clinching up against the cage, I think Nasrat Haqparast is just going to be landing too many shots on Jared Gordon in those in-between moments. And I think Nasrat Haqparast is actually probably going to get a TKO win over Jared Gordon late in like round 2 or 3, I think. I think he's just a better striker outright. And I don't think Jared Gordon, even if he gets Haqparast down, he's not exactly a prolific finisher from the ground. I don't think he'll be able to finish hack press if he does get the takedown, but we'll see, like always. Moving up to light heavyweight, Johnny Walker versus Volkan Oezdemir. Guys, don't take my word for it. You're better off flipping a fucking coin. I picked Johnny Walker because he should win. Younger guy, much larger guy, more power, longer reach, but has a mental deficiency. His defense is very bad. He does a lot of shit that's really stupid, and he has no chin. So Volkan Oezdemir, a guy who's very composed, very consistent, very slow. I will point out, very slow. He could just catch him and kill him instantly. Johnny Walker could do some weird capoeira kick and just get caught in the in between and die. Either one of these guys, like on a different day, a different guy knocks the other out. Like it is literally a 50-50 fight. I don't know. I wrote last chance for Johnny Walker on the board because this is the last time I pick him if he loses. He should win this fight if he doesn't do anything stupid. But it's Johnny Walker, so he'll probably do something stupid to get bonked over the head by Volkan Oezdemir and get knocked out very cartoonishly. Moving up to middleweight, Sharabuttin Magomedov versus Joelton Luterbach. Guys, I'm going with Sharabuttin Magomedov here, but I think Joelton Luterbach is actually a pretty good fighter. Very diverse set of finishes. Pretty much an even 50-50 split between TKOs and submissions, and he's got about 14 TKOs, 13 subs. Yeah. This guy's pretty goddamn good. I think this is a pretty good test for Sharabuttin Magomedov, but one thing about Luterbach that I noticed watching some of his fights is his high guard is very low. And that's a very dangerous game to play against a guy with such diverse kicks like Magomedov and who kicks so quickly. I think although Luterbach is a good kickboxer, I think Magomedov is the better striker. And though Luterbach does have a lot of submissions, his ability to get the fight to the ground, like his takedowns, are not quite so good. I think this is Magomedov's fight to lose here. I think although Luterbach is really good, I think this is a winnable matchup for Sharabuttin Magomedov here because Luterbach does have some tendencies that I think Magomedov can take advantage of. And I don't think Luterbach will be able to get him to the ground so easily. I could be wrong because Magomedov's takedown defense looked like nothing against Bruno Silva, but I think he'll be able to find a head kick here against Joelton Luterbach in like rounds 2 or 3. I think he'll be able to find the shot and time it through Luterbach's high guard and TKO him in like rounds 2 or 3. That's what I'm feeling. Luterbach sub, I feel like is live. I feel like Luterbach as a dog is pretty live here, but I think Magomedov will win this fight, generally speaking. Moving up to welterweight, Kelvin Gastelum versus D-Rod. Guys, I'm going with Gastelum. D-Rod, he's coming off of 3 losses. I'm counting the Li Jingliang loss. You lost that fight, Daniel. I'm going with Gastelum here. I think he's faster. I think he's fought a much higher level of competition. And I think he operates at a higher level of competition, and he's done that for a longer time than Daniel Rodriguez. Like, Daniel Rodriguez is getting subbed by Neil Magny. Like, I don't think he's beating Kelvin Gastelum. I think Gastelum is better in the grappling if he so chooses to shoot a takedown. I think he's better in the striking, or at least he will be against this 37-year-old version of D-Rod, coming off of a few losses and a long layoff as well. I'm pretty sure he popped for a tainted supplement or something like that. And I think Kelvin Gastelum is going to be hyper motivated in this matchup because this is a matchup that he should win. This is a striker v striker, and Kelvin Gastelum has fought for belts. You know what I mean? He should be feeling the weight of the world is on his shoulders because it is. This is his fight to lose here. He should win against Daniel Rodriguez. I'm going with Kelvin Gastelum by decision here in this matchup. Moving up to heavyweight, guys, I am about to cope so hard. I don't... Guys, moving up to our co-main event at heavyweight, Sergey Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. Guys, I'm so torn on this fight. It is not even funny. I am such a big Volkov enjoyer. And I do think he can win this fight. I really, really do. I think this fight's a 50-50. This fight's so hard for me to pick. Fuck, dude. In my previous video, my previous recording, I picked Volkov. But the more I think about it, the more unsure I am. I'll break it down. I'll break it down simply. I'll break down the way both of these guys win. The way Sergey Pavlovich wins, obviously, is by knocking out Volkov in the first round. He just blitzes forward in straight lines and pushes Volkov up against the cage. Volkov shells up. Sergey Pavlovich finds shots around or through his guard. He finishes him. Pretty cut and dry for Pavlovich. Volkov, on the other hand, Volkov's a guy I think can extend this fight if he fights smart with his kicks, his low kicks, and defensively, Volkov's a very hard guy to find the chin of. He's a hard guy to finish too. Defensively, his high guard stays nice and tight, especially when he knows the guy he's fighting has fucking nukes for hands. And he pokes very well. He pokes out those long legs, throw kicks to the legs, kick to the body, push kick, stuff like that to keep Pavlovich off of him, which I feel like he can do and he will do in this fight. And my theory is, I think, because Pavlovich has never been out of the first round in the UFC, I think once we extend him out of the first round, I think we might see a drop-off in effectiveness. Now, this is purely a theory on my part, but even in the first round of a lot of Sergey's fights, he defensively, he's not super responsible. Like, there are openings to catch him. But the problem is it's hard because if you commit to a shot, a counter from this fucking Russian lab experiment is coming straight back at your head. So that's kind of his offense is his defense, is what I said in my previous recording, and it largely is. Sergey, his shot selection is pretty much exclusively to the head. I don't know if he'll mix it up to the body against Volkov. He would be wise to do it. I don't think he'll shoot a takedown. I don't think he'll throw any leg kicks or any kind of kicks, Sergey. I think he's just going to headhunt Volkov. And I think if you only headhunt Volkov, I think you're going to have a harder time. I also think guys like Cyril Gane and guys like Tom Aspinall are much harder matchups for Volkov. Like, when you look at Volkov's record, like, all of the guys that he's fighting here are very stagnant heavyweights, guys who don't move super well, but all guys that have really big power. But when you look, a lot of these guys, and these are more recent, I'm mostly counting I'm talking about Swolkov, basically 265-pound Volkov here. A lot of guys who just kind of move very slowly in and out, not super dynamic movement guys, they tend to lose to him. But guys who are very dynamic, like Tom and Gane, beat him. Pavlovich isn't a guy with very dynamic footwork. He is just going to walk straight into Volkov. And I think the push kick could keep him off of him and allow Volkov to maybe find a shot around Sergey's kind of loose guard. But I don't know, guys. I see this fight largely as a 50-50. Either Volkov extends this fight into the later rounds and probably wins a decision, or Sergey bonks him in the first round and kills him. I really don't know. I don't know. I'm picking Volkov because I like him and I would like to see him get this win. Sergey probably wins though, right? Sergey probably wins, but I'm picking Volkov by decision. Fuck you. And closing out the card, our middleweight main event, Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Holy shit, I just stuttered so many fucking times there. Moving up to our middleweight main event, Robert Whittaker versus Ikram Aliskerov. Let's go. Guys, I'm going with Robert Whittaker. He's better everywhere. Ikram has no business being in this fight. He hasn't beaten anybody good in his entire career. Split decision versus Chad Hannacum, one of the worst fighters I've ever seen. TKO by Khamzat Chimaev, and he gets Whittaker after beating Warlley Alves. He has no business being in this fight, and if he knocks out Robert Whittaker, I will fucking cry legitimate tears. Robert Whittaker, he was prepared for this date. He was prepared to fight a Dagestani guy. Robert Whittaker's a guy who goes 5 rounds basically every single fight. He's got good cardio. His striking is much faster. He's much more technical. But Robert Whittaker, unfortunately, is susceptible to being bonked in the fucking head. And Ikram Aliskerov does have good power. He's got very weird striking. So I can see a fucked up world, a horrible world where he just throws some ugly, untechnical ass fucking looping hook and it just obliterates Robert and kills him. and that would ruin my night. But like, I feel like if you're picking Ikram, you're picking him based off of what you feel like he should be as a fighter, not what he is. So I'm going with Robert Whittaker. I think he's just more technical. I think he will outstrike Ikram Aliskerov, and I think he will take over this fight as it starts to get later. And I think he'll find a TKO win in like the fourth or fifth round. I think late TKO, because Aliskerov was preparing for a 3-round fight the week before against a tall, lanky guy in Tricoli who was just a submission merchant, and now he is fighting one of the greatest middleweights of all time. I just feel like you have to pick Whittaker. Unless some weird fluke shit happens, I trust Rob's takedown defense. I trust Rob's submission defense. And I trust him on the feet. If only he had a lead chin, he would literally be unstoppable. But I'm going with Whittaker, like late TKO, like rounds 4 or 5. But yeah, that's the end of this one, boys. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it so, so much. And I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.